everybody actually suffers from the imposter syndrome, especially when you're just starting, or you're delving into maybe a new area of your business that you're supporting people or getting clients for. So what about that? How does everybody feel about that? Is that something that you?
Um, for me, it used to be, but not anymore.
Right.
Um, with experience, as every year I gain more and more experience, I get more comfortable with that imposter syndrome because I know what I can do for my clients, and it just changes the thought process. And also, one of the other things that help me is not focus on what I can do, but to focus what they need and how I can help them. Even if I don't have the answer, I might know somebody who can help them. So it's not always about me providing the solutions, but giving them what they need, as opposed to what I have to give them. Hope that helps.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's really helpful. Yeah.
Ellen, that's a really good point. That it is about really focus on what their needs are, and it really then by doing that, it also takes the weight off your own shoulders, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not
Because
nervous. Yeah. It's to me, growing up, I always had the gift of the gab. Until one day somebody told me, Ellen, you had me at hello. It was the most embarrassing moment, but it helped me.
yeah,
I'm like, okay, I need to listen more because I have 2 ears and one mouth. It took me a while because I've always been a chatterbox since I was young. I've been told by all my elders in my family, you're a chatterbox. So I had to quiet myself and listen. And I went through many courses like Stephen R. Covey used to say, seek first to understand before
Yeah.
you are understood. The only way we can understand someone is when we listen. And effective listening is a very powerful tool, which unfortunately many people don't have. And introverts tend to think it's a downfall, like, I don't know how to talk. I keep telling them, you do not realize what a blessing you have when you are not talkative, you are more quiet, you're introverted, but you listen. And that is a very, very powerful tool that I have learned. I'm still not good at it, but getting better.
Well, I think that people are so uncomfortable with, empty time, empty space in a conversation. Like they feel they have to. I remember when I was, working in the real world, had a job with a corporation, that when I would interview with people, that was a technique that human resource people would use, is that they would just, give some silence, hoping that say something perhaps that wasn't complimentary to yourself, just because you felt a need to fill that air. So,
You're right.
and
Yeah,
and when you have to listen to what someone says, that means you really have to listen.
right.
You can't be listening and saying, "What am I going to say next? What am I going to say next?"
Right, right. And also another cue that I learned is when you ask open-ended questions instead of
Mm.
closed, where they say yes or no. Now you're like, okay, what do I say next? What do I ask next? But when you ask them, how does that, kind of make you feel? And then they will tell you, and then as they are telling you, you are listening and you're getting to know them better because they're telling you. People, we all like to talk about ourselves, right? Many of us.
It's
And
true.
yeah, and so that gave me a clue when I took a course on curiosity. It's called Communication Through Curiosity. And you ask curiosity questions that are open ended, not did you do this? Yes or no. Did you like it? Yes or no. But to ask open ended questions, and it helps not quicken and shut the door communication, it keeps it going. And so that was a very good course that I took, and I really enjoyed that tremendously. So
That sounds very interesting. I know my father told me once that Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back.
Yeah, very cool. I like that. See,
so,
always be
so,
open to listening to
right.
stuff. You never know what you learn.
And I think it's important too when, especially if it's a client, or someone that you're trying to really help or work with, that when they say to you what it is that, they're trying to communicate, that you kind of say it back to them so that
Right.
it's clear that you understood what they said.
Right. Did I hear you right? Did I understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one of the things that I used to do in the beginning of my career, because I didn't know any better, was when they said something, I would try to like tell them, oh no, this is a better way. You can't do that to a client because their way to them seems the better way. But you have to gently figure out and ask an open-ended question. How do you feel? If may I add a suggestion? Have you thought of it this way? Now
Mm-hmm.
it's different. You're not challenging them. You're just like, have you thought of it this way? That is also something that you learn over time, because we get excited, especially like me. I'm so high energy and I'm so passionate about what I do that I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, stop, stop, stop in my head. I have this conversation with the monkey in my head. I'm like, stop. Ask them something. What is it that pains them the most? It may not be something you can offer right now, but if you help them with their current pain, now they will be able to trust you more and come back, more likely come back to you with another thing that they need. And it's that's the challenge for me, and I think for many people who start their business is to help people with their current pain, even if it's not your business or your product or your, help them whatever their current pain is, help them with that, because that will earn trust.
Right. And I think that's a key point about trust. That a lot
Yeah,
of what we do, because all of us really deal with people and their money in some capacity, and
correct,
that they need to trust people. Because in today's world, there's so many scams, there's so many things going on that
correct.
people are really hesitant to
Yeah,
trust. And especially when we're doing things virtually and not
right.
actually meeting with the person physically, it adds that extra layer. I also find, Ellen, like when people are really animated and talk a whole lot, and there's a point that I wanted to jump in, like you say, is that I have a notepad and I just write down a quick little note so that I remember it later to come back to. Because that's what'll happen is I'll get off the call. I'm like, darn, I meant to mention that. And if I just write myself a little note, then at the end I can kind of close it by,
Yes,
touching on those things.
and that's a very good suggestion. And I started doing that as well. I have little stickies all over my computer. They're everywhere and they keep falling down and I keep putting back on. But yes, take little notes, because that is what has helped me to not jump in, because I tend to jump in, right? And everything
Hmm.
is like, no, no, no. So yeah, it's very interesting. We're all
So
the
welcome.
same. didn't
Yes, that's
matter
true.
didn't matter what business you're doing. Money business, you could be in lotions, potions business. It's the same thing, because we all deal with people.
I'm going to share what scares me, and it's the fact. Well, I always have that feeling of failure. I don't know if well, I'm pretty young, so sometimes I think, well, if a failure, I can learn from a failure. But well, I am so a perfectionist person, so I am always trying to do everything in a perfect way.
So Ted or Gerald, what do you guys think? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, give me the question again, Santiago. I want to
Oh,
make
the
sure.
fear of failure, the feel of failure.
Well, the truth is that when you cross the threshold and you take the risk, what's on the
Right.
other side of that threshold is learning. So even though you may fail, I suspect you will have learned something, and therefore less odds of doing it again.
Hmm.
Fear is an interesting thing. And if you step across the threshold of fear, but on the other side is knowledge. That doesn't mean if you're standing on a tall building and you're curious what's going to happen if you jump off, that you do that. The idea is not to be unsafe, but it is the fact that if you stick your nose out, you'll have an opportunity to learn. So I encourage you to, those times where it's safe is overcome your fear. Fear should not hold you back from achieving something that you haven't tried before.
Ellen, you had a comment?
Yeah, Santiago, that is a very common feeling amongst a lot of people. Even till this day, I still have fear of failure, though it's manifested itself for me, fear of success. They're two sides of the same coin, but it's a fear. Some people manifest a fear of success, so they give themselves excuse. Oh, I'm not good enough, whatever. Some are failure. The one thing that perhaps may help you, because it helped me. Bye, Gerald. Have a great day. The one thing that helped me, which I hope can help you, there is no such thing as perfection. I used to be a perfectionist, and I still am to a certain extent, though I'm willing to be, to show my cards, to be vulnerable, because
transparent.
yeah, transparent, and it's okay. And right on your computer, I am not looking for perfection. I am looking for a connection, because people don't care how perfect you are. They care more about how connected you make them feel, how you care about them. That's a connection. And it's not saying the right words, because words are only 7%. The rest is 33% is tonality, and the rest is body language. So don't we focus so much on the words. Oh, I gotta say the perfect thing. No, you, even if you are not perfect, but they can feel you sincerely care about them. You want to help. That will come through. So don't worry about fear of failure, because that's the only way we learn. Here's another word I learned today during my 12-week year. I'm doing a 12-week year, and I would encourage each of you to do it. The 12-week year, you compress it. I signed up for their program, and there is another word that I just learned. Instead of failure, turn the word failure into failure, F-A-L-L-U-R-E. And I go, what's the difference? What is failure? I never even thought of that word. Apparently, it's a word that the 12-week year, I guess they made it up. I don't know. But yeah, the difference is one, you fail, the other one, you fall. When you fail, you tend to give up, because you say, I failed. I didn't get my result, right? You focus on the result. For failure, F-A-L-L-U-R-E, you fall forward, not fail forward. So when a kid falls, what do we say to them? Oh, it's okay, get up. And then we dust their knees, dust their hand, we give them a hug, move on, come on, get back on your bike. So use the word failure, because when you fall, you get up and you move, keep on moving. You learn the lesson you are supposed to learn, and then you pick yourself up and you move forward. And again, you start saying, it's okay, I was not perfect, but hopefully I made a great connection. And that's what you want, is connection, not perfection. And when somebody told me that, it opened up, it took a lot of pressure off of me, because I started looking at how I was differently. I'm like, yeah, I just want to connect with someone, not, and that's why I say, if we listen, we help them, even though they didn't become our client, but we help them connect with somebody else. Guess what? They will never forget that. And human nature, the law of reciprocity, when somebody helps us, we want to help back, don't we? It's just a natural thing that we want to do. They will give you a referral, or they'll come back and give you their business.
Good point. And Rush, you had a comment?
Ellen, good point on the focus on the connection, not the perfection. That's a really nice point. Yeah.